brain slews, slick with ectoplasmic juice. Ecstatic energy, a fire that fuels our memory. With genealogy, with spiritual topography. Questions for your answers, we are data necromancers.
Piss and shit. 3, 2, 1.
Dude, brother.
I am wildly gesticulating with my arms and legs, for those of you who cannot see.
We're here to talk about AI.
Got it?
We were going to talk about Jesus, but we're going to talk about cheese instead.
Jesus.
We're going to talk about self-driving cars and growing a brain.
Holy shit. She done come with the whole chapter and the layout.
I've had my pa blue ball since August. Dude, it has been a fucking whirlwind.
So much has happened between now and August. How will we organize ourselves?
How have we organized ourselves?
How are we going to organize ourselves on this ginger?
I don't know. Massive changes. It feels like realignment, though. We had to acclimate to, like, my ever-changing reality and your changing reality, and our realities were changing in a parallel sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're higher up. We're the highest we've ever been.
This is definitely the highest I've ever been.
This is the highest. This is the most functioning I've ever had to be. I'll put it that way. Like, if I wasn't high functioning, this wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't have a light on top of my camera that's kind of blinding, but
can't look over there.
It's fine.
Well, you keep on deciding to create new people, and that's like new levels of responsibility every time they pop out. That's nuts. I can't even fathom considering creating someone new. That's freaking crazy. And then you have to hang out with them until at least they're 18, but probably way beyond that, because
most of my day is giving them food.
Yeah.
Did you bring bits? Do you want me to just fucking jump in?
Dude, jump into your bits. My bits I have a couple bits, but they're like factoid things.
I sent this to you a long time ago, but we are growing brains called organoids.
I remember this discussion.
And they're like they're using stem cells, they're growing them in petri dishes, and they are it's bringing up a lot of ethical questions. Obviously,
can they make decisions?
They can play Pong.
That's decision making, right? It's like where you're going to be.
Let's see. They've captured the public imagination. Sentience has yet to be established, but researchers are making tangible progress because we're growing brains. You know what? It was like the way that the articles that I were reading were talking about growing brains. I'm like, y'all know if y'all fuck that women grow brains?
You dipshit. You dumb piece of shit.
This brings up the ethical dilemma of being God. And I was like, actually, do y'all forget about the puss?
The puss is an amazing machine.
The womb 3D prints a brain, and
well, people would say that is because of God. You know what I mean?
Sure. But then,
like,
his
God
mother
created Adam and Eve.
His mother going, I'm God now.
Mother doesn't do that. Mother is democratic. Mother is myriad, pluralistic.
So they can do drug testing, disease modeling. Are they sentient? Right now, the scientific consensus is no. However, they exhibit electrical activity resembling neural firing, but there is no evidence that they possess consciousness or self-awareness. And I was like, yeah, yet. Because right now we start, you grow a little 3D model, but like, how long is it going to be before it's a fucking
Is that what they're
brain?
Trying to accomplish?
I think it's the beginnings of it, because so there were some of these like companies. There's a smell one. They're trying to fucking grow a brain that can smell. And I was like, why not just ask a purse? I don't know. It's just like, there's some weird.
What if it's like biological warfare kind of preparation or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Where you want to send in the non-human personoids to like make sure an area is safe.
Cortical Labs is a biotech startup that has demonstrated how neuron cultures can learn to respond to input signals with output patterns reminiscent of rudimentary intelligence.
So it's like a biological computer.
Yes, and I was also thinking about how like, oh dude, okay, tangents begin, because there was,
as they should,
the CES event, which is a fucking, I don't know what it stands for, but it's like the big tech reveal of the year. And watching it, because for whatever reason I was like, what's happening in the world yesterday? It's like, maybe I should figure that out. So I like turned on my TV and tried
There's a lot of shit happening.
And one of them was this big event that's happening in Las Vegas, and they were showing this pizza oven that's got AI, and I was like, I thought I was fucking tripping my balls off.
Dude, Aaron just bought an oven with AI.
For real?
Yeah.
I mean, like, then there was guitars with AI, and then, like, I'm literally trying to stifle, like, this explosion I want to talk about. And I was like, wow, this stuff is really dumb. Or I was like, this would be where we would be right now. Yeah. But then I saw like the highlights, which is terrifying. We right now are at the brink, of they introduced I wrote it down somewhere, a supercomputer. So there's the Omnia 360, which is an AI-powered mirror that provides a full assessment standing and looking at it.
Of your body? Of your body?
Yeah, metabolically.
What?
Which is sick, because Lucas and I have been talking about trying to get rid of health insurance because they keep not paying for stuff, and our bills keep climbing, and we pay almost $600 a month for this. And I'm like, I don't even have a primary care doctor. I'm kind of over this.
Yeah.
We just need to make sure that the kids
right
have something, and looking into alternative ways to have health care, because the one that we have is so atrocious and so
such
expensive.
A waste. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's sick. That would disrupt, right?
Absolutely. If there was like a accurate
mirror that could
way that you could figure out what's going on with you.
Yeah, that's better than a pizza oven or a fucking robot dog that has like a clamp that comes out of it.
It'd be interesting to study like the error percentage, like how often it would diagnose something incorrectly. I'm sure there's like improvements you can do with any technology.
Well, and I think we've been there for a long time, because you're seeing like all the fucking self-driving cars. That's another rant that I wrote down completely. Using, I am going to start with a quote from Kurt Vonnegut's Player Piano, which is all about the algorithm. Yeah. All right. Okay.
She's got quotes, dude. Shut up. She has quotes.
It's like, it's a fucking sci-fi podcast. Why are we even like...
Let's not dance around it anymore. It's fucking sci-fi. Everything I wrote down is sci-fi too, so suck it.
Because this is the beginning, dude.
Oh.
This is the beginning. Like, so, NVIDIA, am I saying that right? I don't know what the comments are saying.
NVIDIA, I always said, but maybe it's NVIDIA.
Magic Toaster says, how long until that mirror gets to kiss it, Courtney? Wait, what is he? Oh, yeah.
Isn't NVIDIA like graphics cards or something?
Yeah, so they came out, they revealed yesterday a personal supercomputer. It is very small, and it is 1,000 times more powerful than your average laptop, which I'm just like, can I look at cat videos on it? Like, I don't fucking get it. And then there was also, he also brought out this fucking computer super chip. It looked like a intergalactic pizza box. It was like this thing. And,
whoa.
And it can process, he's talking about teraflops and exaflops and terms I've never heard, because this was my first peek into AI or supercomputer stuff, the way that he was just like handling it. But the processing power can process, just to like fathom, the entire internet. The whole internet.
How many terabytes is that? How many gigabytes?
How many exaflops? How many whole room supercomputers? And I was like, I don't know. I'm not privy or hip to like what's going on, but I just knew in my the
things will never be the same.
Is like, oh, this is where shit like fucking takes off.
Yeah.
And
seems like that's the nature of these things, though. It's like that's how the Industrial Revolution happened.
Right.
It was like, we can do what with coal and oil?
Yeah.
And we can do what?
We can make kids make what?
We can do what?
We can give all the kids a fucking job.
And then, yeah, so the remnants of the industrialization is the need for this technology.
We
right?
were long overdue for this.
What do you mean?
They say that, I forget who it was, said we were like 175 years behind because of our reliance and coercion. I hate that word. You know, people like hate the word moist. And I'm like,
coercion?
Coercion, corroborate. I'm like, ugh. It's like, I don't even know what I'm saying when I say that.
So the CO, the prefix of CO, you're like, I do not want to do anything together. I want to be separate.
What was I fucking saying?
The coercion of
fossil fuels. Our reliance on fossil fuels has like drained us of any technological progress.
I mean, it did what it did, and then we should have been like, oh cool, we don't need this anymore, we've found new ways. But instead, greedy people were like, nah, we're gonna stay here and fuck with this shit some more.
So that's kind of the issue too with AI, is it takes an inconceivable amount of energy to process AI, and we have to rapidly upgrade our hardware to a rate that we can't comprehend to keep up. So hopefully,
wouldn't that mean nuclear energy becomes more
something, right? Because it's like we have to change this if we want to keep going forward, because we've mined, we've destroyed, we've countries.
Removed the tops of mountains, we've polluted, you know, underground water reserves,
we've obliterated indigenous societies and whatever, you know. So it would be cool to be at a tipping point where the community collectively goes, oh, okay, we need to like fix this or figure out.
Is that going to be because fossil fuels don't give us enough power to move forward with the robot revolution? Or is that because it's like we morally come to a point where we agree we can't go on like this?
I thought the same thing. Corgi says we should have AI solve the energy problem, and I was like, AI, this is where we need to work together.
That's when they blacken the sky and turn us into batteries, dude. I guess we will blacken the sky. And
then like that coupled with the wildfires in California, I was like, yeah, we're here. We did this.
Every step of the way.
Yeah.
At least since 1970, but definitely since 1992 when Al Gore tried to tell us. Man, bear, pig.
Toaster says Google set up their own nuclear reactor just to power their AI. It's like you have to.
That's what I was assuming. There's got to be like a full system where the AI gets its own energy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like how many people are dumping just the worst sort of prompts in AI of like, I want an image of Ronald McDonald fucking the president. All of them. With Ronald McDonald's legendary octocock.
It's in the shape of an octagon?
Or there's 8 of them.
Oh, no shit.
It's like
I had no idea.
Of French fries.
That's so cool. They'd have to be quite narrow to all fit from the same dicky stem, right?
Magic says, I will make this now. I'm like, yeah. There it goes. So I hate. I'm just like blowing off steam. Is that okay for me to
Please go forth. You know what this shit is for.
Fucking hate the self-driving car. It has always bothered. Or do you see those robots at Mueller with it? They got a fucking pizza in it, and people are just like kicking it. And in like so many regulars at the bar I worked at worked for self-driving car companies and worked in tech, and I was like, to me, the only person allowed to be in a self-driving car is if you accessibility. You can't drive. You have limited access to facilities, whether they're physical or mental. It's like, that's it. Why are we dumping all of this energy into like part of the problem, which is the car and our reliance on the convenience of the car, and then the streets and the infrastructure and the highway?
We don't want cars anymore.
I don't want more cars, and I especially don't want a fucking car where you take all the fun out of it. Why? And we're obsessed with it. That was like half of the fucking CES event was like, this car can drive itself. It's like, I don't care. I hate that. And then it was like, well, it's not fun to be like, we really need to get rid of the highway system. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear about a bullet train. Policymaker, all the bureaucracy that fucking just takes hard, knobby shits on anything that would make our lives more enjoyable, because God forbid we're inconvenienced. We would hate to be inconvenienced. It would disrupt everything if we were fucking inconvenienced.
But we should be inconvenienced. And, well, the thing about people putting energy into self-driving vehicles...
I'm going to throw a goddamn Molotov cocktail. They're all over Austin, too. And I'm like, I hate you. You kill motorcyclists. You represent... That was the... Sorry, I'm sorry.
No,
Continue. No.
You're obviously still ranting. Let's go.
Kurt Vonnegut's quote is, but I find it a far more defensible belief than the one implicit in intemperate faith in lawless technological progress, namely that man is on earth to create more durable and efficient images of himself, and hence to eliminate any justification at all for his own continued existence.
Let me chew on that for a minute here. Let me chew on that. He wants to replace himself with machines? Mankind?
He just wants to make everything more efficient and have everything be done for him. There's the AI TVs now that want to fucking serve what...
They like scan your iris and they're like, you want to watch Bob's Burgers,
I was about
don't
to say,
you?
I was like, here's a Bob's Burger cooking European cyberpunk solar punk crossover.
Yeah, and then I just start foaming at the mouth and go into a catatonic state, and I never come out of my bed again.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, that lines up with the machines needing batteries. They would just turn us into consumption-based, entertained batteries, right?
But then what's the energy being generated that they're sucking out of our anuses?
Our heartbeat.
Is that powerful?
Well, if you follow Matrix lore, the fucking human body is like a little... BT, it's got like 69 BTUs. I don't know how much it would do. It's vague when Morpheus talks about it. He's like, that combined with a form of nuclear power. It's like, yeah, that's where they're getting all their energy from. But I don't know. What you were saying about the self-driven or like the driverless cars, it's because people don't want to take public transportation. They don't want to be with other people. They're selfish and individualistic, and they want to still maintain their autonomy, but they're also lazy because they don't want to actually pilot themselves.
There was a carriage being shown on the news that I watched yesterday for the first time in like 15 years. And he was like, it might be kind of awkward looking at the person across from you in this carriage. I was like, oh, I don't want to be looked at. I don't want to connect with anybody.
Like on the public transit carriage?
It was a self-driving carriage.
It's like, hey, you going to 5th Street? So am I. Jump in, bud.
We will have VR goggles that will put a naked fucking Pamela Anderson type
You know what I want to see
Cyborg.
more of? God damn it.
Tits.
This is my rant. Tits. No. Moving walkways.
Tits on
like at
burgers.
the airport.
Tits on pizzas.
Just make a portion of the street just always moving in the same direction. And then you can like stand on it with your groceries and eventually get home. Or, I don't know, it's like instead of having containers for people to move around in, just move parts of the earth all the time.
Okay, so put the ground on, or just move. How do we do that? Build giant conveyor belts
Conveyor
that we
belts.
live on.
You're like, oh yeah, I'm over by belt 1A and I need to get over to belt. You just like transfer over to belts. And I'm sure people would get their fucking legs ripped off and shit, and there would be mass casualties until we figure out the technology. But
isolation has retarded our growth in ways.
absolutely.
Divide and conquer, baby. It's like, be alone, feel like you got to build a conveyor belt to see somebody. Because God forbid you live next to me.
No, I was thinking about this. Our civilization and its development has been a series of like cyclical actions wherein we are together and then we all separate and then we come together again and then we all separate again, and in those separations we develop our culture and our individual approach to being alive, and then we come back together and we're like, what is this strange substance that you have made pants out of? And it's like, if we could just figure out a way to like maintain some type of homeostasis and like collective sharing of the planet, as opposed to like, well, here in New Zealand we don't do it like that. You know what I mean?
It's just, we're a mistake. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Something happened and we're broken, and I can't tell if it's like the notion, is the broken part the fact that we can visualize a utopian society, or are we broken because we're greedy and we like to masturbate until we die?
We do like to masturbate until we die, but I think there are also a lot of people who are making big discoveries still and working towards discoveries.
I am in suburban isolationist.
Well,
like,
we have to have all walks of society
nihilistic,
still
yeah.
carry forward because we
Yes.
need people. But I definitely think we're still making progress. It just seems slowed up because the president-elect wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
I am an anarchist, so I hate everybody equally, and I'm just like, eggs are $8 and this is what we're doing.
Gulf of America.
Eggs are $8 and this is what we're doing.
Yeah, I wish he knew anything about history.
Eggs are $8 and this is what I'm like.
And the chicken doesn't see any of that money.
Chicken doesn't see any of that money. I was like looking at my budget and I was like, yeah, it's Megan's heard me go on this fucking rant. She could write a fucking textbook. I don't know. Well, it's just because it happened in 4 years, you know. Right. But it's like we are exploited. We are brainwashed. The propaganda is rampant, and there's not much we can fucking do.
But you know what? I think it's always been this way.
Yeah.
And now we have bigger eyes, more eyes, greater eyes on it.
And I think we're burnt out.
But we can expose it now.
Yeah.
And people can actually learn and become aware and actually change the way things are. Whereas in the past, you know, like feudal systems, you had to do everything your lord said, and then there was slavery, and then there's like the patriarchal aspect where there's always been these systems of control, and they control information. So as long as we can access information and educate ourselves and change shit, then we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I was watching a video about like comparing America to Rome, and I didn't know how eerily
like ancient Rome,
how eerily similar the billionaires got to do whatever the fuck they wanted in incomprehensible ways to peasants, and the peasants didn't care. They just wanted
bread and beer,
bread and a circus
and
to
sports.
Watch. Yeah, and so it's like, okay, so maybe there's nothing new happening. It's just got a different shade of lipstick on it, and
it's not surprising because we've modeled our whole government off of that time period and that sort of the Roman Empire, the Greeks, sort of Hellenistic culture.
Yeah, God forbid you fucking do anything different. Ever.
Well, I think we take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Or is it 1 step forward, 2 steps back? They have
The latter.
I wish I had a list of accomplishments that we've achieved so I could just rattle them off.
We've got a ton.
Yeah. For
We've got a
example,
ton.
my favorite new genre of TV.
Yes.
It's not that new. My favorite one in 1992 to 2000.
Can I pull your finger? Wham.
1997 to 2002. Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. Do you remember that show?
I'm sure if I saw something, it would
It was with
ring a ding-a-lingus.
Riker from Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Frakes.
Yes.
This isn't a genre of show now. So it's like the trusted actor, either Canadian or American, whoever, and he hosts a show on like strange phenomena or like weird historical tidbits, just like esoteric and occultish things.
The only thing I live for.
It's my favorite type of show. Jonathan Frakes, William Shatner has one called
Unexplained.
The Unexplained. Lawrence Fishburne has one called History's Greatest Mysteries. And fucking Dan Aykroyd has one now.
Dan Aykroyd
It's
has
new.
one?
I was watching it the other day.
Where'd you find it?
I think it's on Hulu.
Hover into your brainscape. Okay.
Dan Aykroyd, The Unbelievable. His is called The Unbelievable.
Dude, yes.
And I watched a bunch of episodes, but one of them was the Michigan Triangle. And I wanted to know if you had ever heard about the Michigan Triangle.
Does it have to do with UFOs? Is it
Yes.
over Lake Michigan?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Yes, of course you have. It's like the Bermuda Triangle, but over the lake.
Yes, and I remember why I can recall that so clearly. It was actually a really moving story about a meteorologist who saw something.
Oh, yes.
And like reported it, and they're like, yeah, there's nothing to be seen here. And he was like, no, what are you talking, like he was this sweetie. And he got pulverized and he was ostracized and he had to move and it ruined his life and he stopped being a meteorologist.
Yeah, I mean, that's why people don't talk about it anymore, because it's career ending. It's bullshit. I mean, we talk about it all the time, how we should be asking questions that freak us out.
And we should be questioning the timeline. Or we should just be questioning everything. Always.
Always question everything. Why? Don't just take it for granted,
Poor little sweetie guy. I forget his name.
No, but he absolutely 100% saw something. And then
they said it was swamp gas.
he reported it diligently. And he had no angle he was working,
No, he was just a Michigan
Just like,
man.
well, hey there in the weather.
Oh, yeah,
the
there's
weather
a
service
freaky
there,
thing here
looking
being
at the
freaky.
radar.
Well, it was like in the late 90s. I mean, the amount of UFOs over Phoenix, the Phoenix Lights, was like insane. And so the governor like brought out a alien mascot and was like, here they are.
And they regretted doing that, didn't they? They were like, actually,
it's like they were gaslighting people who were calling this stuff in. These gigantic fucking, I mean, people were reporting shapes as big or things in the sky as big as cities. I mean, they were massive.
I think it's wrong to ostracize people for reporting something that they've seen. You want people to stop seeing shit?
Well, it's important to be curious, always. To be curious.
Curious.
That's interesting.
Creative, confident. I'm thinking of all the self-led qualities from parts therapy.
Yes. Parts therapy. What were you just saying?
There's like these qualities of the authentic self, I guess, that it's like non-judgmental, compassionate, confident, curious, creative. They don't all start with a C, but a lot of them can. And then on the flip side, there's like judgmental, fearful, or like qualities that are sort of your parts of yourself, sort of espousing those, I don't want to say like less productive approaches to
Self-sabotagey.
yeah, they're like protector and exile stuff. Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know. Everybody could learn from therapy. That's a given. Do you think we'd have a better world if more people went to therapy?
Are you fucking kidding me? You know, it was crazy. I had a motorcycle video that Lucas and I, whatever, we were talking about therapy. I got like 5 or 6 emails when it came out of like, I need someone now. You know, what's the name of your therapist? You found somebody? Like, where do I go? What do I do? I'm at the end of my rope, and it was really sad. At the same time, I was glad that I brought it up, but like that can be a really hard journey, you know, especially if you're pay-gated by it or there's nobody in your area that you trust. I think it should just be fucking mandatory because it's your fucking brain.
It should be mandatory, and people who do it should be well compensated. But I guess then you run low on people who are qualified to do it,
but
or who want to do it.
I would do it. I'd fucking do it in a heartbeat, but it's like a long, expensive process to become one.
Yeah.
That would be sick, is to redo college, and it's less like 19th century rich, I'm going to become like a well-rounded person, which is ideal, right? You've got money and time to just sit and do that. Mm-hmm. But it's like nobody has that anymore. I mean, the elite's children do, which is what it was originally reserved for. Mm-hmm. But it's like, what about a fast track to the things?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people have usually like learned a trade. Yes. From like an apprenticeship or like a mentor or something. And not everybody needs to go to the 4-year university to learn literature.
No.
I mean, dude, I made up a new religion.
Can I join it?
You're my co-chair.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm into it.
It's basically how we do our thing, but I gave it a name.
You did?
Uh-huh.
I'm ready.
It's called PPFG. And it's sort of like a catch-all for just like how to move through the world in the most effective way. Or like the most, I don't want to say positive way, but it's like the most beneficial to yourself and the others and your surroundings and your environment and everything that's like interconnected. The basis is like interconnectivity. So PPFG is powerful people for good. It's basically becoming aware enough to realize that you make decisions like thousands of times throughout the day, and your decisions will ripple through time just like infinitely. And so PPFG is like, oh wow, I recognize that I am an extremely powerful person and my decisions matter and I can affect change in any way that I want to. So PPFG is like, I'm a powerful person for good, so I'm going to make decisions that will be beneficial to my loved ones, to strangers, to my environment, to myself. It's basically just like increasing your awareness, and it gives you a little bit of an incentive to do the right thing, I guess, when no one's watching, which sounds lame, but
what's the incentive, or what would be the motivator?
I guess it's just like
you'd get a green check by your floating head.
PPFG is like you're doing it for good, like for the benefit of everyone, but for good is also like this is your duty. You're dedicated to this because this is your higher calling, you know?
My dad always said that we should be unwillingly elected.
Right.
Like, sorry, everybody nominated you because we see you, Ted. You are so sweet to everybody. And Ted's like, no, I don't want to leave. You know, and you're like,
that's the only way you would get somebody to fucking do it right, is if they're not incentivized.
Because every Congress member being paid exuberant amounts of money to fucking fuck us over.
Yeah, that system didn't really work out.
Well, it just gets to a point where it has to evolve.
I think it will. I think maybe even under the TRUMP, it seems like he wants to tear it all down And then that could happen.
We could start there, I guess. I don't think it's going to happen because it's like you were already in power and nothing. And what?
I don't remember what he actually accomplished.
Do we ever see really any?
Did he accomplish anything from his? Well, now he's affiliated with that Christian 2025. What is it called? The document?
He did not endorse that though, unless he did it recently.
I think he just wants to say everything that he thinks everybody wants to hear.
She can add it. Okay, did Toaster send you his document? I'm on like page 3.
What?
What?
Wired?
Toaster, are you talking about the layers of meaning? Or did you mean a book? Tell Megan to go on her Discord and read my book I sent her. Or maybe he sent you just a book.
Thank you. That's on my computer, so next time I'm looking at my computer, I'm going to go inside and look at this book.
Yabba-dabba-doo. We're at the last 15 minutes, so we should fucking catch up, babe. I had to get that shit off my dick's chest, or my chest's dick.
Did you did you touch on everything you wanted?
Self-driving cars, player piano, the algorithm. Cheese heist. This is quick. It's funny. So I'm balls deep in occult knowledge right now.
As always.
And practicing Western occultism and learning, which is mostly just rooted in ancient Judaic texts. It's not really, it's like pretty
that checks out.
Centered on that. But I wrote it down because I can write things down now as opposed to, okay, was the divinity of Jesus a late invention of the Council of Nicaea? And you've brought up the Council of Nicaea before.
Very important council. Santa Claus was at that council.
Really?
Saint Nicholas of Myra. Yes, there are legends that he slapped Arius because it was like they were trying to get rid of Arianism because Arius, I think, was talking about how Christ was just a regular guy.
Right.
So at that council, they established that he was not just a regular guy. He's fucking God, bro. And I think that's when they were doing the same substance thing. In Greek, it's like homoousios, same substance.
Oh, yes. Right. Yes. And I just like closed that down because I was like, that is going to need some more reading. Wait, here we go. It's recording over whatever I just said. Yeah. Okay. What you were like, where did I read that?
About the Council of Nicaea.
So my occult book was saying Jesus was elected in this year, but it was hard to kind of find
325.
Yes, my bitch.
They had us memorize this stuff in History of Christianity Part 1.
It's like you got a degree in it or something.
I have a degree in it. But I also end up reading about it all the time too because I find it very fascinating that it was like a council of all the bishops and priests and shit. Like everybody was just like, all right, what are you telling them? What are you telling them? That's fucked up. That's wrong, you guys. Don't tell them that.
Yes, and that was where I closed it down because I was like, oh, there's a lot here. There's a lot going on. So I don't know if Jesus was actually elected, but it makes sense that it's like, okay, this person existed. What's weird is that we center our whole calendar around something that we didn't elect into being God or a holy figure until 325 years after it. You would know more about this.
Oh, like his actual death was year 0?
Yeah, when did that happen?
Probably around the Council of Nicaea.
Okay, so that was like a monumentous...
I'd have to fact check that because I don't actually know when we started doing that.
Okay. So I was going to bring up something else that I found that was funny. Instead, in its place.
Christianity was not a cool religion.
Right.
For a really long time. And there was, like, the Romans were continually torturing and martyring Christians for their beliefs, and it wasn't until Constantine and his mom,
And his mom was like obsessed.
Helena, I think her name's Helena, but she was like, Rome is the new Jerusalem, like Christ is really important, you need to make it part of your government, and like that was really what changed the way people thought about Christianity as a whole. And that's probably when they made the year start over with
Jesus.
Christ's death.
Jesus Christ. All right, cheese heist. This past week, the
Christ
British artisanal cheese community has been reeling after Neal's Yard Dairy announced that it has been a victim of a sophisticated fraud, resulting in the loss of over $389,000 worth of cheddar.
Say what? Come again?
The theft involved a fraudulent buyer posing as a legitimate wholesale distributor for a major French retailer, with the cheese delivered before the discovery of the fraudulent identity. They stole 48,000 pounds of Half-Odd, Westcombe, and Pitchfork cheddar.
What the fuck?
Also, I saw like Jamie Oliver was like, nobody makes cheddar like this. And I was like, I want a piece.
This happened recently?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And they think that they're gonna go sell the cheese in the Middle East or Russia, where people don't ask questions.
They're like, what's that? Cheese? Here's 12 rupees.
$400,000 worth of cheese.
I wonder if there's a way for like the whatever the FDA is in France to like sample stuff that people find around town to see if it was the stolen cheese.
I bet you they got out of Dodge. Because that's what people are saying. They're like, we all know where this came from.
They're going to Eastern Europe.
You can't hide. And like, how are you moving this many wheels of cheese?
What do you think it was?
I mean, it said that they dressed up like a French grocery and they were there to pick up their order, and so they got let in, and then
that's pretty
when
wild.
It was gone, they were like, wait a second.
The same people, they looked exactly the same, showed up and they were like, hey, we're here for the cheese.
Yeah,
and they're like, we just gave you the cheese.
Dude, can you imagine how hard that security guard got just fucking fired?
He probably got flogged, if they still do that.
They flog you with a mozzarella cheese stick.
That would smack. That would make a big gushy sound. Speaking of cheese, whey is like a byproduct of the cheese production process.
Yes.
And if you recook the whey, you make ricotta, so you can use it again. But last night at Foreign and Domestic, I had a goat neck dish that was braised in whey. And I was eating it was like with pasta too, of course. I was like, I want the pasta dish. And
look at me.
The whey made it taste like beef stroganoff.
Oh, cool.
It was like tangy and like sour cream and flavor, like it was really good. And when I ordered it, I was like, whey, goat neck, mafaldine, dill, and pepitas.
That sounds great.
And I was like, I think I want that. And it was so good.
That restaurant never disappoints because it's like husband and wife. It's never gonna stray. They're never gonna sell. It's a passion project.
Yeah, it was great. We had oysters too.
Ooh, oysters. Well, if you had a fucking crazy week, it was time to fucking celebrate.
And on Tuesdays they're $1.
Oh.
Each.
Fuck yeah, mate.
Yeah, yesterday was amazing. We did shooty hoops in the morning, and then we shot BB guns in the backyard. Like, we both drew different bullseye papers. And mine had like a little dude with a hat who was like scolding, and like a little lady who was like teasing, like, and I was like shooting them in the face. And Dan drew like a lizard alien with a t-shirt on that said Earth sucks, so we were just like shooting him in the tongue and stuff. Yesterday was amazing.
Yabba dabba doo. That sounds fucking great, babe.
It was a great day. Today I've got to clean my apartment. I'm going to
Today's-
start moving.
Yes!
It's time.
Dude, that's big news.
Yeah.
And yes, it is time. When you said that you couldn't break the lease in your... I was like, get out of there.
Yeah. And I don't care if I still have to pay. I don't want to live there anymore.
You gotta do what you want.
I'm going to do what I want. Guess what?
Do what you fucking
I'm going to do what I
want.
want. Because that's all I can do. You know what I mean? That's all I can do. That's all I got time for.
Yeah. And it's like December, I'm guessing, was a good month for you.
Yeah.
January's a good month?
Going so far. I have a lot of taxes to pay. I didn't pay my third quarter or my fourth quarter taxes yet, so that'll be thousands and thousands of dollars. But I'm gonna get some new shoes.
So it's move out.
Baby? Is Lucas getting her?
Yeah, that usually means that he put her down to do something.
Oh, got it.
We've got 1 hour and 33 minutes. Oh shit. All right. All right, babe, let's come back and do this. It's cathartic.
Once a week, twice a month. What do you think?
Twice a month. It's
Twice a month.
probably. Once Liddy Bomb's in school, then it's
For every
but then
day.
that's like,
Every minute of the day.
you know, a year from now.